Hey everybody, Dan with Pain Free You. Today I want to address something I get pretty frequently. Dan, I've been aware of TMS for a long time. I'm still not better. Why? Or maybe this isn't going to work for me. So, it's an important point. And I don't want to scare anybody with this, but it took me 13 years after I read Sarno for the first time before I got better. And a lot of people go like, well, geez, if it took Dan that long, how long is it going to take me? I didn't know any of this stuff back when I first found out about Sarno. And so Sarno's books were wonderful at explaining what was going on. But there was very little how to get out of pain. It was more knowledge. Here's what's going on. But for many people, like myself, that wasn't enough. The knowledge, I read the books a number of times. I recited the 12 daily reminders. And yet I was still in pain because I was making a lot of mistakes. I was talking about my symptoms. I identified with them. I was the back pain guy. I avoided activities. I avoided body positions and movements. I was entertaining the fear. I discussed the symptoms anytime anybody would ask. Sometimes I would volunteer to discuss the symptoms. And so I made a lot of mistakes that kept the pain persistent. I did have fear for sure, and I gave the symptoms a lot of attention and a lot of power over my life. And so by doing all of that, they persisted. So now, many years later, I ended up getting better. And if you asked me then, I would have not been able to tell you what I did to end the symptoms. Right? I probably could not have spelled it out. But in the subsequent 10, 12, 14 years, I've continued to study it, interact with the mind-body community in Facebook groups and other TMS forums. And then about 6.5 years ago, I started teaching daily my interpretations of what's going on and how this stuff works. And over the past 6.5 years, interacting with countless thousands of people, I've gained a lot more insight, and I've learned more from you in my coaching, in the comments on YouTube and Facebook. I've learned more from you folks than I did in my previous 20-something years, right? And that's because I was getting a lot of information from the audience, from my coaching clients. And it became clear over time that I got better because I accidentally stumbled upon many of the things I talk about. So if you've been in this game for a while, that does not mean you cannot or will not get better. It just means you haven't yet. And so that's why I put out this information every day. Little gentle reminders. Tweak here, a tweak there, a lesson learned, an experiment there. Be your own proof, right? Believe enough to begin. Believe enough to start conveying messages of safety. I am safe enough, right? So I'm going to be slightly less bothered by this stuff. I'm going to be more calmly reassured. I'm going to be more indifferent, less bothered, less freaked out, less panicked. So if you've been in this game, in this mind-body community for a while, you've probably tried a lot of things. You've listened to this coach, that coach, read this book, read that book. You've gone down some of these paths that these people have laid out for you, and I do the same. So I'm not differentiating myself. And even people who say, Dan, I've been watching your videos for years. I'm still not better. I don't get it. Maybe it's not going to work for me. So I guess to the people who, in their head and out loud, they say, I'm doing all the right things, but I'm not better yet. I'm not seeing any benefit. There can be some things that'll catch us up. So sometimes when we first hear about TMS, perceived danger, pain, or symptoms, we get pretty excited by it. Oh my goodness, this is great. And sometimes we get a little bit of a lowering right up front. Why? Because new information feels safer. I have an answer now. And that's great. But then that little bit of a decrease in symptoms stops. And then we start going, I thought I was moving in the right direction. Then we start to get nervous that we're doing something wrong or we're missing something. And that can create a level of fear and danger that may cause symptoms to come back up. And so somebody just commented, and they said, I'm doing all the things and my symptoms are getting worse. So one of the things that I find people inadvertently do, not even aware of it, is that as they're implementing, they're monitoring and they're watching the symptoms. And any change increasing becomes an oh no, what's wrong moment. And that creates some secondary fear. I must be missing something. Maybe I'm not doing it right. It should be getting better, not worse. And the worse it gets, the more we panic, and the more we fuel the fear and the perception of danger, and the worse it gets. And so to the people who are either new in this journey or have been around a while, ask yourself, in what way am I contributing to fear? And look, I know a lot of people are like, I'm telling myself I'm safe, I'm telling myself I'm good, I got this, there's nothing wrong with me. Wonderful, you're doing the right things, you've gathered the knowledge up front, you've done the assessments, perfect. But as you start to implement this stuff and you don't see results, or sometimes they increase, or sometimes due to no fault of your own, the brain perceives more danger, symptoms can jump. That's been called a flare. And if we respond to that with fear, like, holy cow, I'm doing something wrong, it's my fault. Look, symptoms are going to go up, they're going to go down, they're going to go sideways. And try not to blame yourself. Try not to judge that I'm doing something wrong, I'm missing something. I need to read 3 more books or watch 42 more videos, and. Another thing I will tell you is, in talking to the group members, there's a lot of people who learn, they listen, they gain knowledge, but when push comes to shove, they're not implementing. Meaning, watching videos is not a cure. It's not, by itself, it's not a cure. You actually have to internalize this stuff and say, all right, when I notice symptoms, I'm going to be unbothered by it. I'm going to be less bothered. I'm going to reassure myself, I know what that is. Don't have to worry about it. Shh, it's okay, right? And the clarity is a requirement. So even if you've been watching my stuff for years, I've run into people who, when I ask them, well, what do you think is causing the pain? Well, I don't know, I had a medical procedure or surgery 10 years ago, and I think I got some nerve damage. Okay, so then you're not on board with the mind-body concept. And as long as you believe that you got nerve damage from a medical procedure 10 years ago, it is likely that your brain's going to keep the symptoms going because the brain believes you've got a problem. So clarity, utmost important. If you are telling yourself, yeah, I've been watching your videos, but it might be physical, don't be surprised that the symptoms are still around, right? So get clear. And even if you're unsure, let me encourage you to make a decision to go all in. To make a decision that goes, look, there's no obvious medical cure waiting for me next week, so I'm going to go all in on this. I'm going to commit to it. I'm going to remind myself consistently, calmly, reassuringly, with conviction that I'm good and this stuff is going to go away. Do that consistently for a while. Don't do it for a day and a half and say, this isn't working, I hurt. And then if symptoms go up, you panic more, and then you hurt more, and then you go, yeah, this is really not working. So you see, I'm being a little bit animated here because it's so easy to fall into these traps. Symptoms are not evidence of tissue damage. Symptoms are not evidence that you're doing something wrong. Symptoms are purely evidence that the brain is perceiving some danger or threat in the moment. And our job, our responsibility, is to call it out for what it is. I know what that is. I'm not concerned. And it's going to go when it goes. I'm not watching the calendar. I'm not watching the clock. I'm not going to panic if it doesn't go away immediately, because sometimes it takes a little while to influence the subconscious to turn this stuff off. But presence of symptoms, lack of apparent symptom progress, is not a lack of progress. Are you more calm? Are you freaking out less, panicking less? Are you able to reassure yourself better? Are you less bothered? Are you moving towards indifference? Are you engaging in life more? Are you not talking about the symptoms as much as you used to? Are you not thinking catastrophically and predicting your own demise and doom and gloom? Are you not predicting symptoms into the future? Are you not expecting bad outcomes and expecting that, well, maybe things can be better? Right? All of these things that I just went through are mindset shifts, and the mindset needs to lead the way. The mindset needs to shift first before symptoms will. So if you're measuring your progress simply based on, are my symptoms there? Are my symptoms going up, down, whatever? You're missing the opportunity to notice progress in other ways. Are you engaging in life more? Are you thinking about this less? Are you fixing less? Are you focused and frustrated less? That's all progress, whether or not the symptoms have moved an inch or not. Focus on the mindset. Focus on things that are within your control, which is how you think about your symptoms and how you respond to them, what your expectations are, and again, what you predict in the future. So predict good things. Respond as well as you can. You're not always going to be perfect. There is no perfect. Respond better than you did yesterday. And if you have a bad day and you respond poorly, and you get into panic or freak out, cut yourself some slack. That's part of the journey. And if your negative thoughts and ruminations are going wild, that's part of the journey. You're not doing anything wrong. That's to be expected. Negative thoughts are just your brain perceiving danger and warning us with thinking. Warnings. Hey, don't do this, don't do that. And the cautions of maybe you're missing something. You should go dig more, learn more, watch more videos, read another book. You get my point. So if you've been doing this a while, watching my videos for a while, ask yourself, am I implementing? Am I focusing on mindset, or am I focusing on, I just did something for 30 minutes and did it work? No, it didn't work. I'm doing something wrong. That's a different mindset than I'm going to be okay. I'm doing the right things. I'm on the right path. I'm trusting that my body and my brain and my nervous system will all settle down when I do. So, love you folks. I'm going to wrap this one up. If you're not a subscriber yet on YouTube, click the subscribe button. That helps the channel grow. If you're not a follower on Facebook, click the like button on my page or groups. Join the groups. If you need some help, there's links in the description below for some other resources and even my paid group coaching. And if you don't have the book, I strongly recommend it. painfreeyoubook.com. Well worth it. Puts all of these concepts that I teach on a daily basis into one area, one place for easy reference. So, love you folks, and as always, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.